Okay, hello. Happy day 30 of your plant-based May Whole30. The May Plant-Based Whole30. I said that in the wrong order, but I did get one thing right, which is that today is your day 30. It is your last day of elimination on the Plant-Based Whole30, and you'll be moving on to reintroduction starting tomorrow, which means you get to bring back some of the foods and beverages that you may have been missing on this plant-based Whole30 journey. So I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. I know that we had people in this cohort who were doing the plant-based Whole30 for the first time, people who had never done a Whole30 before, people who had done the original Whole30 but never a plant-based version, people who came to the plant-based Whole30 from being a vegan, and others who are trying a 100% plant-based diet for the first time. And you all did it. You made a promise to yourself on day one that you would finish the plant-based Whole30 and you would discover as much as you could about the way plant-based foods work in your body. And that commitment and that promise goes all the way through your reintroduction. So we're done with elimination, but we're not done with the Whole30 because reintroduction is part of the Whole30. And this is the point starting tomorrow where you begin to learn as much as you possibly can about the way foods work in your system. You are going to learn when you reintroduce certain food groups, whether it's added sugar or alcohol or non-gluten grains. Maybe you're reintroducing animal products like animal protein, seafood, meat, eggs. Maybe you're reintroducing animal dairy products or gluten grains. Whatever you choose to bring back, we're going to bring them back carefully, one food group at a time, like a scientific experiment, and we are going to be able to evaluate accurately how the reintroduction of that food group impacts you. And what I hear a lot right now at day 30 from Whole30 participants is they might say something like, yeah, my sleep got better, I guess. Yeah, I guess it got better. Or, yeah, I guess my energy is better. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's better. Or my allergy symptoms seem to be better, or my digestion seems to be better. And it's kind of hard to quantify how much better it is. And what I hear all the time is, upon reintroduction, you may realize how much better all of these things became over the course of the last 30 days. Because when you reintroduce, you might go back to, oh my gosh, my stomach used to feel like this all the time, and I just accepted it as normal. Or every day at 2 p.m., I would have this head on desk slump, and I just thought that that was normal. Or I used to wake up 5 times a night, and I would wake up at 4 a.m., and I wouldn't be able to fall back asleep, and I just thought that was normal. And I didn't realize how much better that got during my Whole30 until I reintroduced. So you may discover as you go through tonight, going through your day-by-day journal, going through the non-scale victory checklist, you may go through and check off the things that you thought got better or things that you noticed improved, all of your non-scale victories. But what is also interesting is when you go back and reintroduce, you may discover that the things you thought got somewhat better actually got a lot better. And it's only because they got better slowly and incrementally over the course of the last 30 days. It wasn't this light switch moment where all of a sudden you woke up and you were Energizer Bunny mode, but over the course of the last 30 days, your energy did consistently get better and more consistent and left you with less of that brain fog or that focus or concentration issue that you used to have. And then when you reintroduce, that might become readily apparent. So I want you to pay as much attention in reintroduction as you did in the elimination phase. We're so focused on the elimination and thinking about, well, what am I going to eat if I don't eat this? And reading every label and really paying attention to those tiny, even no matter how small, because they all count, non-scale victories. We're so in tune with that because we want to keep ourselves motivated. We want to hold ourselves accountable to the promise that we made. So it's important that we stay super closely connected to that part of our journey. I want you to stay as equally well connected to reintroduction. It is a radically important phase of your Whole30. It is the part where, again, you learn so much about how foods impact you. But the more you put into reintroduction, the more you're going to take away from it and the more you're going to learn. And everything we do over the next 10, 12, 15 days, however long you choose to stretch your reintroduction, everything you do is going to inform your food freedom. So think about reintroduction like putting pennies in your bank. Every time you pay extra attention, you journal what you ate, you really think about how these foods impacted you physiologically and psychologically and emotionally. You go through that non-scale victory checklist and you mark off the things that after this reintroduction food group maybe didn't feel as good as they felt on your Whole30. The more you put into it, you're putting pennies in your bank. So that when you go to spend those pennies in your food freedom and you ask yourself, is it worth it? Do I want it? You will have this robust body of evidence on which to draw. It won't be a guess. It won't be like, oh, how did that go when I reintroduced that food group last time? I kind of can't remember. It's all a blur. It's going to be, I had a definite experience with this food group. I was dedicated. I observed. I analyzed. I really thought about what it meant to me in a variety of different factions. I remember how it made me feel. And even if I don't, I took good journal entries. And when I ask myself, is it worth it? I have a large body of evidence to help me make that decision. That's the payoff of paying attention during reintroduction, is that your food freedom decisions will be that much more effortless and you will get those food freedom decisions right for you. Not that there is any one right food freedom decision, but you'll make the right decision for you in that moment based on your highest interest or highest good more often than not, because not only did you pay attention during elimination, but you paid attention during reintroduction. So that's what I want to impart upon you. I'm so happy that we can celebrate this day 30 together, and I want you to. I want you to celebrate all of the promises you made that you kept. I want you to celebrate the fact that you put Whole30 food in your mouth for 30 straight days. I want you to celebrate the challenges that you overcame, the social gatherings that you attended and you figured out how to navigate them, the cravings that you overcame, all of the ways that you learned to self-soothe and relieve anxiety and show yourself love and reward yourself that didn't have to do with food, because all of those tools are going to carry through your reintroduction into your food freedom. You will have those tools forever. And now your tool is so much more robust and so much more effective. All of that is amazing. And we should take a moment to be so proud of yourself, to high five, to congratulate yourself, just to have a moment to say, like, I did it. I said I was going to do this thing and I did it. And I'm so excited to see people in the chat sharing. Tony is all in with your tofu scrambles and all of that creativity, so you'll stick with it for a while. I love that. You have learned new cooking tools. You've used new ingredients. You've created new meal combinations and flavor combinations that you love. And all of that will carry through with you as well. In your food freedom, you don't have to go back to eating cereal and pizza and donuts. In my food freedom, a lot of my meals are still Whole30 compatible because it works great for me and I find it so delicious and so easy. So if you have things that you took from this plant-based Whole30 that you love, that you found satisfying, that work for your energy and sleep and digestion, that help you feel satiated, that just feel just comforting and happy and delicious, by all means, take that with you into reintroduction and use that as your base meal as you add a side of gluten-free toast, or as you add a side of white rice, or as you add a side of pasta, whatever that looks like for whatever reintroduction day. So I love that. Cassandra is excited to eat gluten-free oats again. Fingers crossed. Oats were one of those foods that early in my Whole30 journey, I tried oatmeal pretty early on after my first or second Whole30, and it didn't work great for me. It didn't feel good in my stomach or digestion, and it left me feeling kind of like slow and heavy like I'm moving through like molasses heavy, right? Just like not energized. And I was like, okay, that didn't work. And then I didn't go back to oats for a couple years. And then a few years ago, when I really picked up my hiking and I started hiking really long distances and pretty fast, I thought I'm going to try oatmeal again. And I tried oatmeal again and my body loved it. It felt amazing. It was good for my energy. It was good for my mood. It was good for my digestion. I felt super energized and focused after I ate it. So that was a really good experience for me. It was that through Whole30 and through being committed to my food freedom, I adapted. My body, my digestive system, my blood sugar regulation adapted so that I could eat this food group more often with little to no negative side effects. And two, context matters. When I am super active, oatmeal works amazing in my system. And if it's the middle of winter and I'm not super active, I probably would eat less of it. But it is nice to see through your Whole30 experience that even if you reintroduce oats this time and you're like, oh, it's not ideal, it doesn't make me feel awesome, give it a couple months and try it again. This is why I say reintroduction is a lifelong process, because every time I eat a food or drink that is not Whole30 compatible, I'm evaluating how well it works for me. And sometimes I eat the same thing 10 times, and every time I eat it, I think to myself, that wasn't worth it. That wasn't worth it. But then it comes up again, and I'm looking at chips and salsa, tortilla chips and salsa. But then it comes up again at a Mexican restaurant, and I think, looks delicious. This time it's going to be worth it. And then I eat some, and I'm like, man, that wasn't worth it. I would have been happier with my cucumber chips and salsa. Sometimes we need those lessons where we do it again and again and again, and we really want it to be worth it, and it's not. And then finally we just say, okay, fine, it's not worth it. I'm just going to stop trying for a little while. Other times we're like, maybe that wasn't worth it now, but I really miss it. And I'm going to go back and try it again 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and see how it works for me. And you may be surprised at the things that you don't feel great eating now, but after a bit of working your food freedom, or maybe if you do another Whole30 a year from now, reintroduction would be a different experience. That's why I say I want you to do a full reintroduction every time you do a Whole30. Don't ever just assume that because something wasn't worth it 2 years ago, it won't be worth it today, or vice versa. Every time you do an elimination, it's the opportunity to learn something new that's going to serve you in your food freedom. So I want you to reintroduce every single time. And I am crossing fingers for you that gluten-free oats go well, and let me know how it goes. You and Tony was plant-based for 5 weeks before reintroduction. Yes, because you did the, what did you call it? Soft launch. A phrase which I love, by the way, and I think we're probably going to end up adopting at Whole30 HQ. It's a soft launch. We're soft launching it. I think it makes so much sense. And I think it probably helped your body ease into the high amount of fiber from legumes, the high amount of fiber from veggies. It probably helped prepare your body and your digestive system, and it gave you an extra week of learning what to plan and prepare for, and how to cook, and what your emergency food could look like, and the kinds of meals you might like. So I think it's a really smart idea, and it obviously served you well. So I love that. And I'm thrilled, Tony, that you're sharing the word. Thank you. You've always been such a good advocate for us, and you obviously walk the talk so beautifully. So we're really happy to hear it. Thank you so much. And yes, Whole30 shared my Creatures of Habit oatmeal in there too. That's my high protein oatmeal that actually would work great for your reintroduction. The protein source in Creatures of Habit is pea protein, which you're already eating on a plant-based Whole30. And all of the other ingredients are Whole30 compatible. So it's hemp, and I think chia, and some pumpkin seeds. It's got some vitamin D3. It's got some probiotics. It has some digestive enzymes, so very functional ingredients. It does include gluten-free oats. And there's a small amount of monk fruit as a sweetener. It's not super sweet. I wouldn't like it if it was super sweet. They just put a small amount of this monk fruit in to give it just a little splash of sweetness, but that would make for a good reintroduction. And because there's healthy fat from the chia and the hemp and the pumpkin seeds, and because it's a high protein oatmeal, there's 30 grams of protein in a serving, you are also getting the satiety factors, and you're getting a bit of blood sugar regulation buffer from the healthy fats that you wouldn't get if you just ate a bowl of oats all by itself. So I think that could be a good reintroduction food for you as well. And I saw that we shared the non-scale victories list too. Be sure and print that off. Make sure you're checking it off at the end of your night tonight. Make sure you're documenting all of those non-scale victories. Be generous with yourself. There's no reason to hold yourself back if you feel like any aspect improved, or if you feel more confident about any aspect, or somebody else noticed something that improved, even if you didn't. Check that off. I want to see those non-scale victory checklists just covered in check marks by the end of the day, so you can see the results of all of your hard work over the last 30 days. As a reminder, we are going to keep the Slack channel open for reintroduction conversations through June 9th. So we've got another 10 plus days, 10-ish days in the Slack channel for you to ask reintroduction questions, get advice about reintroduction food groups, share your day 30 non-scale victories, because I haven't been into the Slack channel to read through whether people have shared. Maybe it's a day early. Maybe that happens tomorrow. But I would love to hear the success, the things that you wanted to happen that did happen, the unexpected successes that you've achieved. Share that in Slack. If you want to share how reintroduction food groups are going, like if, I reintroduced oatmeal and here's how it went, Cassandra, if you wanted to share that, we would love to hear it. So the Slack channel is open to connect with each other, to continue sharing recipes. There are some delicious recipes in that channel, to ask for advice, to get guidance. You can ask any preemptive food freedom questions as well. So we're in there with you for the next 10 days. Take advantage of it and make sure that you feel like you get all the support you need through reintroduction and through, into your food freedom as you launch into the food freedom part of your journey. We will also be sending you an exit survey. So this exit survey is part of the cohort package where we're going to ask you a few simple questions about your plant-based Whole30 experience, and how you answer is going to help us guide and shape the program for the future. It is going to give us valuable insights about the kinds of resources we might need to create. It's going to help me convince my publisher that the next book I should write should be a plant-based Whole30 cookbook, because I am gunning so hard for that. I would love to put out a book of just plant-based Whole30 recipes, and I'm really excited for that. So feedback of that nature, if you would find recipes like that, interesting or helpful, feel free to share it. But I would encourage you to fill out the survey with as much detail as you possibly can. It's only going to help us make the program better. And we thank you so much for all of your support and all of the information that you're going to share with us. So we will link to the survey in Slack. We're also going to send the survey through email, so you can look for that coming out pretty soon. And yes, we want to hear it all. And then finally, we are going to save all of our plant-based lives in a YouTube playlist, and we're going to share that playlist via email and on Slack. So if you want to go back and go through any of the plant-based Whole30 lives again, for example, last week we had Chef Rosie Gadicki on, and she shared all of these amazing ways to boost the flavor and texture of your plant-based Whole30 meals. Now, you're not doing the plant-based Whole30 anymore once reintroduction is done. But if you still want to eat some plant-based meals and you still want to learn how to boost the flavor and boost the texture and the vibrancy of your meals, that might be a YouTube live that you want to go back and rewatch, because Rosie shared a ton of amazing tips. So we're going to put them all into a playlist. We'll share it on Slack. We'll share it on email. And it will be there for you in case you want to go back and watch any of it. If you wanted to watch any of Ryan Geiger's tofu tips, we did like a whole section with her on plant-based protein, and she shared a ton of information about tofu and pressing tofu. That could be a good rewatch. We talked to Steph Grunke about mitigating digestive issues and concerns on the plant-based Whole30. So if you continue to eat a plant-based diet and you notice that you have the occasional gas or occasional bloating, that might be a good one to go back to. Or if you just feel like you need a little extra motivation in your food freedom, you can go back and watch anything that we've shared, and we'll make sure to include them all in the playlist. So we've got that for you as well. So I guess I'll see you in Slack. I am just really, really excited for everybody who finished this plant-based Whole30 group. It was a real joy to be able to spend time with you on these lives, and to everyone who watched them after the fact. I'm so glad that you got benefit from them and felt like they helped you in your journey, feel supported and to feel, get the guidance that you needed. And it was just really nice to connect with you here and be able to share a little bit of your journey with you and continue to provide you with the personalized support and guidance that, I've been really excited to do for Whole30 years, for the last 14 years. I'm still here. I'm still loving it. I'm still really excited to have connected with you. And I'm really glad that everyone who has joined me either live or after the fact has been here. Thank you so much for just showing up for yourself, for each other, for us, for the rest of the Whole30 community. It really means a lot to me and to the rest of the Whole30 HQ team. And yes, we now have a pinned post in Slack with all of the links. So perfect. You can find all of us at Whole30 HQ in that Slack channel until June 9th. So please take advantage. Ask any questions you might want to ask. Get guidance on anything you might want to get guidance on. This is your chance to be directly connected to Whole30 HQ in this small group environment and have us help and lead and support and guide you in whatever you need for your reintroduction and your food freedom. So please take advantage of that. We would love to hear how your May Plant-Based Whole30 went. Share anything and everything with us in the chat. Ask any questions you have, and we will be there to support you for the next 10 days, 10 plus change. So we're really looking forward to connecting there too. Thank you so much. Thanks, Tony. I'm so glad. It was so nice to see you in these lives, and we're so happy that you had such a good experience. I'll be looking forward to chatting more with you and with all of you in the Slack channel. So congratulations again to a wonderful wrap up of the May Plant-Based Whole30. I am so proud of all of you, and you should be so proud of yourself. The Whole30 is hard, and you all did it, and I couldn't be happier for you. So with that, congratulations. Thank you so much again for joining, and I will see you in the Slack channel. Good luck with Plant-Based Reintroduction Day 1 starting tomorrow. Good night, everybody.